Hi there, Kingsley here. So this is the Redmi 10C. The Redmi 10C is one of those budget-friendly devices or one of those devices you can buy right now for cheap. As of the time of recording this video, the 4GB RAM version of this device that has 64GB internal storage is selling for 79,000 Naira or $135. The version that has 4GB RAM and 128GB internal storage is selling for 89,000 Naira or around 155 US dollars. So let's find out how good this device is. So the Redmi 10C is an upgrade from the Redmi 9C from 2021. One of the obvious or one of the biggest changes here that you can observe is in the size of the device. This is significantly larger than the predecessor. The body is built with plastic as expected for a device of this caliber. At the bottom, you'll find a USB-C port, which is something you rarely find for devices that cost this price. And then you will get a single speaker outlet. This device does not have stereo speakers. And you will also get a microphone outlet. At the top of the Redmi 10C, you are going to get a headphone jack. But have you noticed something missing? That is the signature IR blaster from Xiaomi. I think this is the first Xiaomi device that I've seen in the last 2 to 3 years that doesn't have the signature IR blaster, which is something all of us have come to love about Xiaomi devices. At the back of the phone, there is this cord out here that houses 3 cameras, a flashlight, and then there's a rear-mounted fingerprint reader there, which is kind of fast when you are using it to unlock the device. The version I have here is the matte black version, and it has this kind of textured feel to it, so it makes the device easy to hold and it doesn't slip off your hand even if you don't put it inside a case. The Redmi 10C costs about 15,000 Naira less than the Redmi Note 11. But the good thing here is that the Redmi 10C uses the same chipset like the Redmi Note 11. So whatever it is that you can do on the Redmi Note 11, you can actually do it on the Redmi 10C because it is the same engine that is powering both devices. Only thing is that you will not get all the superb things you find on the Redmi Note 11, like a Super Amoled display and some other beautiful stuffs on the Redmi 10C. But to me, an engine of a device or the chipset of a device is the most important part of the device in my opinion. From the box, the Redmi 10C comes with Android 11, which will be upgradable to Android 12 when the time is right. And it also comes with the MIUI 13, which will also be upgradable when the time is right. But I won't really upgrade my device to any MIUI version right now until I am sure that MIUI is actually stable enough, because I've heard stories recently I've read stories where people upgrade their devices to the latest MIUI and the device breaks and dies and never comes back on again, and MIUI is notorious for this. So before you upgrade to the latest MIUI, you gotta be careful. As for the memories, it comes in only 4GB RAM version, and for the internal storage, it comes with 128GB or 64GB internal storage, and this is also upgradable with a memory card. And you can add an SD card to upgrade the memories if it's not enough for you. The Redmi 10C has a 5000 mAh battery and it has 18 watts fast charging. The battery actually lasts long enough, but I have not really been so satisfied with the battery. It can actually take you a whole day, but it depends on what you do. For me, the device doesn't really take me the whole day. It can actually take me up to maybe 2-3 p.m. during the day, and then I'll have to charge it again. And this is largely due to the size of the display, which we are going to come to in a minute. But I've spoken to 1 or 2 persons that use the device and they have been very satisfied with the battery. But I am a power user, so I am bound to complain about things like these, because if the battery is not that good, I will definitely feel it because I'm always on my phone. The Redmi 10C has an IPS LCD display, and this is a very massive display coming in at 6.7 inches. It could have been nice if this was a full HD display, but it's a 720p display and it has a Corning Gorilla Glass coating, which I don't really know what level of Corning Gorilla Glass is on it because it is not indicated, but it has a Corning Gorilla Glass coating. But aside the specs and every other thing, this is a beautiful display to behold. The only problem I have with this display is that old school notch that is still dropping from the top. It could just be a regular display, we don't care these days. But that notch is still there, so you gotta deal with it. But outside that, you can watch your videos, you can surf through the internet, you can do a lot of things, And surprisingly, the display is smooth. But when you use this device for a while, or you've used it for a long time, you will notice a little sluggishness, which I don't know if this is just peculiar to my own device. I'll find out proper from those that are using it. But it's missing things like a high refresh rate, which I would have expected, like at least a 90 hertz refresh rate should be here. Most Infinix and Tecno phones that sell around this price category are rocking something like 90 hertz refresh rate at least. But there's no high refresh rate here. But you will still enjoy using the device anyway. It doesn't really matter. I haven't really had any cause to complain because the display is smooth enough. MIUI 13 is running on this display as I indicated earlier, and I love how they categorize the apps into different categories, which you just scroll through and pick what you want, like communications, entertainment, photography, tools, and the rest of them, which is quite nice. And also this device has the radio, which is something you might not find on higher Redmi devices like the Redmi Note 11 or the Note 11 Pro. It has a radio, and this radio does not require the headphone for you before it works. Like once you just launch the radio app, you just tune into any frequency you want, and it just starts working. That is something I see a lot of people finding really handy. As usual, MIUI is bloatware infested. From the box, this device comes with about 68 apps, and when you finish setting it up, you should be having around 71 or 72 apps installed. But the good thing here is that these apps can be uninstalled and they won't give you any issues. The Redmi 10C uses the same 50 megapixel camera that the Redmi Note 11 uses. It has a 2 megapixel depth sensor, and in front it has a 5 megapixel f2.2. And in front it has a 5 megapixel f2.2 lens. Both lenses can shoot 1080p videos at 30 frames per second. Even though this 50 megapixel lens is the same lens that is found on the Redmi Note 11, the implementation on the Redmi Note 11 is far better. For some reason, I just don't find the pictures that are coming out of the Redmi 10C as good as I expected them, owing to the fact that it uses the same chipset like the Redmi Note 11 and it uses the same 50 megapixel lens like the Redmi Note 11. So I'll just let you guys go through some of the sample pictures that I've been able to take here.